Welcome, everyone. This is Austin. This is Flashpoint. Your turnaround story starts here. Happy Friday. I'm glad you're here with us today. I have a very unique guest today. This is going to be a very unique interview because mainly you don't find many people that focus on inner peace as a practice of daily life. Most of the time, it's the opposite. People are in a state of chaos, maybe a state of stress, a little anxiety, feeling the pressure of what's going on. That's why I'm very, very excited for you to grab the value of this interview. And just maybe your turnaround story might just be birthed through inner peace. Before I bring Julie Gandy on, I want to share a little bit about her. She is a peace minister. And so as I go through this, I want you to understand that she's done the work. Not only has she done the work from a research standpoint, but she's lived it through her story. And people who have lived it and experienced it and then done the research to create their own turnaround story are incredibly powerful people. Would you agree? Julie is a Jack Canfield certified coach. She's a HeartMath coach, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. And she has a mission to really help change the globe by creating more inner peace through her mission of peace and love amplifiers. I'm going to share with you a short video, and then we're going to bring Julie on.
Our society may look like it's breaking down, but it's actually breaking through. It's a breakthrough that's happening. So if we keep this sense of love, of peace, and what that is, then the sense of hope, the sense of gratitude that we can be here doing this job right now of amplifying peace, of amplifying love, then we can help shift this society.
All right, everyone, I'm back. I want you to help me welcome Julie Gandy to Flashpoint Friday. Let's get into her story. Julie.
Hey, Austin. How are you? I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited, really happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here as well. We've been talking about this for a while, and this is a great way to not only highlight you as a person, but really to highlight the work that you've been doing. And we had a conversation before, and I got chills because you had some great moments, and you're feeling like this in your own experience that you've done the work. I just talked about some of your credentials, and now you feel like this is the time, especially now. So what do you say to that when you maybe you can reflect on what we just talked about prior to the jumping on here live?
Yeah. And again, thank you. I want, a lot of this has been culminating over the past 20 years or so with the work, as I started with my wellness career as a massage therapist many years ago. I realized that a lot of people needed to feel comfort. A lot of people needed to feel relaxation, and they were looking for outside sources to do that. And so I wanted to really train myself because I was always a worrywart. I was, if I didn't have something to worry about, I was worried that I was forgetting to worry about something, So I always had this low level of anxiety for the most part, even from a child. And I write that in the book that's coming out.
Yes.
The Flashpoint book. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But there's, I used all of the tools that I've learned, the techniques, the methods, the modalities,
yes,
to help myself first, and now it's time, I think, with the way that society is right now, with us now hopefully coming out of COVID, this year of just complete change for so many people.
Yes.
That we now need to renew ourselves. We need to restore ourselves. And now is the time to really create not only your own world that you want to create and reinvent yourself, but also to reinvent society. Because if we are society, then we are the ones that can change society, you know? So,
Yes.
so there are ways to do that. There are so many different things that people can do, whether you're politically minded or spiritually minded or both, or, you know, there's so many things that you can do. And that's what the mission is of the podcast, is the Peace and Love Amplifiers podcast, is to really create a space where peace builders and those people that are working in a heart-centered way to help create to amplify those voices and to create a platform for all of those people that are doing incredible work right now in the midst of all of the stuff that's going on.
Yes, and you said an ocean. First of all, I love the word choice of amplifier, because it really speaks to the fact that people are maybe working to get a message out there, or maybe they're in their own little respective worlds and they want more love and peace in their life. And the fact that we can amplify that, and that's a really great key word. But I want to go back, because this is about your story, and it's about this culmination of 20 years to get you here. And maybe we'll talk about your Flashpoint moment here, but if we go back, and I was thinking about the opening of your book and how impactful it was, you know, I want to grab some of these early moments that shaped you. And the reason why I do that, and I want to do that with you, is because I look at, even with my own journey, I look at the alternate. What could have happened had you responded differently to those moments, to that journey, and having this, you called it a low level of anxiety over time that really brought some crazy things into your life. So if you could, I would like to go back and capture some of these moments that you might have had, and, you know, and how that has impacted you today.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot, and, you know,
I know
it's one of those things, you know, from an early childhood. You know, I had loving parents. They were. This was back in the 70s and 80s that.
Yes.
You know, they were supposed to stay together forever, and it wasn't until I was 17 that, and I'm the youngest of four,
Okay.
and my older siblings are 8, 7, and 6 years older than me. So I'm like 6 years later, here comes me, you know, and so they're
meant
all
to
out
be here, right? Meant to be here.
Exactly. But they're all out of the house pretty much, and it's just me and my mom and my dad, and it was not very. And I love my parents. I love them both. It was just a sign of the times that, you know, they were trying to stay together for me, and they shouldn't have. They should have just, because they were both unhappy, and so yeah. So, and it emanated through, and, you know, we've all talked about it. We all, you know, have come. It is what it is, and it's part of my story, and I'm okay with it, you know, but I use that as when my ex-husband and I were not happy, and it was for years and years and years that we weren't happy, and I had, you know, a young daughter. I said, I'm not staying married just for her, because I want her to grow up in a loving environment. I want her to marinate in love. So, you know, if that's not there, if it's, you know, and I sat with this decision for almost 4 years. How is it just me? Is it, you know, can I do anything differently? Can I do this or that, so, I use that, my own experience, to really sit and get to this place of, I want my daughter to have a loving home, and we do. I mean, I have since divorced and married my husband now, and it's a world different. It's a world of difference, and
Yeah.
and she's part of that, and I'm really happy
Yeah.
for her. Yeah.
You know what? This is a really good point, because I think it's great for parents to hear this. And this is unplanned, by the way. But I think parents stay together thinking that they're doing the child a benefit, like that there's a benefit if they stay together. And I think they forget or disconnect from how intuitive and connected that children really are. And
Yeah.
keeping the peace is different than building the peace, right? So parents trying to keep the peace, children are aware, and you live this and you watch this. And is this where maybe some of this early chaos came from? Because I know we're coining you as an inner peace coach, an inner peace builder. What I want people to know is that it wasn't always this way, and that this is why you're in this work. So you had this early start of experiences. Is that where maybe that some of that chaos came from, Julie?
I truly think so. I started massaging my older sisters and my mom when I was young, and I knew that that we are very, like you said, intuitive beings, and when we're small, it's even more so. And so we all pick up on those. And this is like some HeartMath science too, that we pick up more. We're more connected than we know, than we put awareness to.
Yes.
And yeah, and so when a child that doesn't have as much, especially back in the 70s, 70s, early 80s. We didn't have iPads, we didn't have, video games. So
Right.
we were, we had two TVs in our home. One was color, one was black and white. So, it was, if you wanted to watch TV, you had to watch it with the family, or you had to put your slot of time in that you want. And, so I was always trying to. And there's some funny stories, if I can go into one real quick. But my sisters and my mom all wanted to watch General Hospital at 3:00 every day.
Oh my goodness.
So they're
going back in time.
So wait. So I wanted to watch at the same time at 3:00. Scooby-Doo was on. All right. So Scooby-Doo and
Scooby-Doo.
So, and that was my favorite. So I could only watch it on the black and white TV, which to watch a cartoon on the black and white TV
that was like torture,
work.
Right? It was like torture watching a black and white.
So I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I remember distinctly going into my mom, she's folding laundry, watching General Hospital. My 2 older sisters are there. And I said to her, I said, Mom, how about if you guys watch General Hospital on the color TV Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Because I knew about cliffhangers at that time. I knew that you had to watch Friday and they had to watch Monday.
Oh.
So I'll watch, if I can watch Scooby-Doo on the color TV on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that would be, could we do that? Could we compromise? It didn't work, but, she was like, no. So I was relegated to watching Scooby-Doo on the black and white TV, until we got the second color TV. But so my early peace building days weren't always very good in my part. They weren't very successful. But so I think there's always a way to present things, present your case, and then, so it's just a little funny story, but
Yeah. So what about your turning point? Was there a moment where you felt this pain and then you said, like you had a pain and then you said, there was a turning point where you said a new decision needed to be made?
yeah, many times. But one that sticks out in like clarity is I'm actually married.
The cowbell moment of clarity.
Okay, cool. So I've actually been married 3 times.
Okay.
And that, I think that speaks volumes to my upbringing as well. But my first husband and I write about this in the book, that he switched jobs, switched careers, and it kind of changed a lot of his mannerisms and his behaviors. And I remember him coming home one night because he would go to the bar every night after work. I was 27, I believe, 27, 28. He was like 6 years older, so he's like in his mid 30s. And I would get these really, really bad headaches, and just where I almost like a migraine. I don't think they were migraines. I think they were just really bad tension headaches, and I thought it was. Yeah. So I had asked him to massage. Can you just rub my shoulders? I just like I can't even sleep. It hurts so bad, And so he reached over, he like massages my shoulders, like, oh, they're really tight, and turns around and goes to bed. I'm like, wait a minute, I asked you for help and you didn't help, And for me, one of my things, like I'm very, if I ask for help, it's like usually because I really need it.
Yeah, because you're not one to seek help if you can avoid it, and here you're asking for help.
Yeah,
which is depressed.
Right, and so that, like, literally that night, he fell asleep, and I'm laying in bed, and I hear this voice, whether it's, it's some part of me that said, do you want to live the rest of your life like this? And I was like, no, I don't. And, this was after, again, a lot of changes in our life. And so, we went again, soul searching and doing some things, and just, so that moment of clarity, it was just like this definitive no. And I
knew, like it was you felt it at a deep level, like this, right? That's what we talk about, is like, this is going to change. I'm making a new decision, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're describing. So you felt that.
Yeah. And it was that set me on the path of, I again wanted to sit with the decision and make sure that I was coming from the right place and moving into the right direction. My knee-jerk reactions are something that I always look at, whether it's a fear of spiders or just, I'm just automatic response.
So so instead of just reacting, you have conditioned yourself to kind of sit in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's why this is a great segue. We have the hourglass, not to scare you, like, oh my God, time is ticking away. What am I doing with myself? It's more to just drive home the point, what Julie just said, that can we live in the moment even during the hard times, Julie? And that's what you're describing here. And I think that this is why you're in this work, because, this is something you can understand logically, but it's something that is a practice that's cultivated over time that you became aware of. And I believe it's why you're so effective at your work. Is this right?
I would hope so. Yes, I really think that.
I want to validate that. Yes.
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 So it, I've come to this realization now, through all the work that I've done, and all the training that I've done, and that I right now I'm at a place where all of the things that I've done are working. Like even though I was this past year has been very challenging for me and my family.
I know.
I'm still.
I know.
I'm still living seriously with love and grace, and that is where I want to come from every day. I call it my come from. Like my words come from love and grace. My actions, my thoughts, and I've literally changed my self-talk to
change your self-talk.
Yeah. And that's like, that was key for me, was changing that self-talk.
How do you change your self-talk? I mean, how can you cultivate this? Like how the world can be so crazy. Like, how do you do this?
Well, it takes time because you're rewiring your neurocircuitry, right? So that neuroplasticity where, we thought that your brain patterns couldn't change. Well, now they know that that's not true. That we have brains that can actually change. We have neurons in our heart, so we have brain cells in our heart. So we have this connection between our heart and our brains that we can cultivate. And that is where heart intelligence, what HeartMath talks about and develops, and so it's incremental changes over time, that the more you do, the more you do. And that's what I would tell my clients is the more you remember to do something, the more you'll remember to do it.
That's a great point. And I think we got the connection here because it sounds like your ability to sit in the pocket without that reaction, it's almost as like you're giving your brain time to rewire, and that neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to form new connections. But if you go to that quick reaction, you're not giving yourself that awkward moment. It's almost like that awkward moment is a gift if we can allow it, because it'll help us rewire. Is that right?
Yeah. And when we're in a stress state, we go into cortical inhibition. So our brains actually go into fight or flight or freeze, where we say something stupid, we hit send on an angry email that 5 minutes later you're like, oh, I shouldn't have sent that. I still have moments like this, and it's the ability to come back from that and still love yourself.
That's a cowbell moment right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll see, and I get to the point where if I say something like, oh, I have this flash of I shouldn't have done that. I'm like, and I say to them, I love you. It's like it's a complete, instead of going down that rabbit hole of self bashing. Oh, I'm such an idiot, this and that. Your mind hears that, your body hears that I'm such an idiot, I'm such a this, and so to stop it right away and send, that I love you, to myself, and do it in the mirror. That was my key.
I learned that from you. I learned that from you. I love that. We got about maybe like 6 minutes. So I want you to share, because I want you to share that mirror technique, because I think it's really valuable. And then I just want to share a couple tidbits about what we're working on. I want to share that video again about changing the globe. And so, share this mirror technique. I really love this.
Yeah, so I learned this through my Jack Canfield training. And when I started implementing this last February, he said, do this for 40 days in a row, every night before you go to bed. And if you've missed one night, the next night is day one or is night one. So because you're, again, rewiring. So you look in the mirror every night and you call your name. So I would say, hi, Julie. Today was was a really good day. You did this, you did that. I really liked how you handled this situation. Or today was kind of rough, but you got through it. And now you get to go to sleep and you get to go to bed and you get to have a good night's sleep. You deserve it. And I love you. And you always end with that, I love you. And you looking into your own eyes is so powerful, because again, you're rewiring, and that's the self-talk to me has completely shifted.
Yeah.
And that to me is, that inner peace, or that self-love begets inner peace. Because when we truly love ourselves, and and you get to a place of that you can handle anything, and that you're doing something that is beneficial for yourself and for the world. Because as you amplify, to go back to the amplification, if you walk into a room and you're exuding love, then people feel that, because we are interconnected. And this goes back to the HeartMath science of this interconnection, the interconnectedness. And so people can feel when they go into a room that somebody was just arguing. You can go into a room and change that with your own vibration of love. And that's not woo-woo, that's actual science. And
yes,
there's so much
absolutely. This is beautiful. I got a lot of great comments. This is great information. Follow Julie. Every morning she does a guided meditation, and we'll share it. Her link is here, https://link tr.ee, which is Linktree, JG Tours. Make sure you get that at the bottom. You can go there and connect. I want to share a couple things, and then we're gonna wrap this up. And I really want you. I hope you're feeling what Julie's sharing here as a powerful conduit. To really go in and say, what is going on inside? Am I cultivating inner peace? Is there chaos inside? Because, and I believe in this. You can create that inner peace. You can change the world. And let's share that. I'm going to pull you out here for a second. Let's see. We got this.
Our society may look like it's breaking down, but it's actually breaking through. It's a breakthrough that's happening. So if we keep this sense of love, of peace, and what that is, then the sense of hope, the sense of gratitude that we can be here doing this job right now of amplifying peace, of amplifying love, then we can help shift this society.
Tied into perfect motion, turned off the road to ruin. Let my imperfect notions fly with the wind of the thoughts and feelings. Life holds me a bigger dream. Love grows among the veins. Songs of our laughter, my children will sing. And I spend time delaying you, spend time delaying our lives to wait for you to change wrong into right. Only you can do. Spend time obeying my drive.
This brings our show to a close. Any final parting words, Julie, about just this time today and what you'd recommend?
I want to give people permission to unconditionally love themselves. I mean, we have that right, and we have that almost an obligation to really find ways to love the self that you were here embodying, and listening to what is calling you forward, what needs to be birthed, because we are all put on this planet for a reason, and we all have gifts. And when we can respect ourselves enough to share our gifts, then the world will benefit.
Beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Make sure you follow Julie.
Thank
Julie,
you.
I'll see you on the other side. All right, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you next week for Flashpoint Friday. This is Austin. Your turnaround story starts here. Have a great Friday, everyone. Much love and peace to you. Bye for now.